This can only mean one thing. Hi, good morning and welcome to Stickle Time. It's Dawn here. It is just coming up to 10:30 in the morning, Friday. I think it's the last day of September. I'm not sure, I haven't looked at the calendar, but I'm sure it is. Anyway, like I said, 10:30 in the morning and I am super busy here. As you can probably hear, the canner is going. It's I'm just processing the first lot of canned meatballs, and I'm going to be starting the second lot when that's finished, so I can show you the whole process. These are our own meatballs, and I've got another load all sitting there waiting to be done. I've also got dinner in the slow cooker. I've got a pulled pork on the go because I'm get it going now because I won't have time later on. I've just made my iced coffee, which I will have this afternoon. Make it now, let it cool down, get it in the fridge, and then it'll be ready for later. So yeah, lots going on. Martin has just been and picked a basket of mushrooms over in the field. He's moving buffalo today. Yeah, so there's just lots and lots to do. Yeah, so rather than just talk about doing it, I want to show you what I'm doing. So it's very easy to sit there and say everybody should be busy doing this, doing that, but let's just share and show how we can be busy and what we can be doing. So yeah, I'll come back to you in a minute with the start of the next lot of meatballs. Hi, it's Dawn here at Stickle Time, and today I am super busy in the kitchen. As you can see, the canner is out. I've got stuff cooking over there and I've got dinner cooking over there. So what am I up to? Today I'm canning meatballs. I'll pan you around. That's the first lot. They've just come out the canner. Can't handle them, they're red hot. So I thought I'd bring you along as I'm doing the next lot. These meatballs are from our own buffalo, and we've got 3 different flavours. I've done the Moroccan, we've got firecracker, and we've got sweet chilli. I've just put 2 packs of sweet chilli in there to start browning. And that's all we need them to do. We're not cooking them through, we just need to brown them. Give them a bit of a glaze. You can do them without browning if you want, but no, I prefer them browned off. And they'll be going into these big jars, and one of these big jars will hold 8 meatballs, and that will do us 1 meal. So by the time I've finished, that will be 10 meals canned up, ready to go. So, bring you over a bit closer to my stove. There we go. I'm going to give you a lift over. There we go. Right, I'm just going to turn these now. And once they're browned, I'm just lifting them out. We'll brown the next lot. So once they're all browned off, they're just going to go into the bowl here until they're all done, and then I will start canning them up in the jars. But yeah, starting to look okay. So I'll bring you back in when I do the next stage. Right, the meatballs are all browned off now. That's them in there. In fact, the other lot are just finishing off on the stove over there. I'm trying to keep them separate because it's two different flavours. So these ones are the sweet chilli. So I'm ready to start getting these into their jars. And of course I know it's 8, because it was 8 in a pack that the butcher made up for us. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm not putting a sauce with them, I'm just putting water. The other lot are just pinging. I've lost count now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I put one too many in there. Take those others off the heat. Right. And pour in water. Shake round. Now we're going to top them up with water, leaving a 1-inch headspace. Then wipe the rims off with a bit of vinegar, because we don't want any grease on there at all, because we want a good seal. And put the flats on. Now I know I separated out 5 flats. There's only one. That's one. That's one. Oh, there's 2 there. Right. Put the rings on. Hand tight. Do not over tighten. If you over tighten, that's when your flats buckle. And with my pen, I'm going to write on these ones now, sweet chilli. There we go, so I know what they are when they come out, and I'm not going to get them mixed up. So these are now going to go into the canner, and I'll put the other 2 jars of their firecracker. 6, 7, 8. There we go. That's them. Them 2 in. Right, so they're just ready to be topped up now with water to the 1 inch mark, and put the lids on and then into the canner. Right, let me get these topped up with water. Now, if you're new to canning, you might not know this, but you might have a tool with loads of little cut out ends and everything, and that's for measuring your head height. I've got a couple of these ones, and these ones are actually marked. It's a debobbler as well, so you use it, you know, to get your bubbles out, and it's marked 1 inch, 3/4 inch, 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch. I don't know if you can see them at all. So if I pop that in there, 1 inch, little tad more water. There we go. And yeah, if you haven't got them, you can buy them separate. I bought mine separate. They didn't come in my initial canning set, and I think I bought a pack of 2 off Amazon. They were just a few £. Anyway, they didn't cost a lot. Now let's wipe the rims over. Put on the flats. In fact, nearly all my canning supplies come from Amazon, apart from jars. I do buy jars, Home Bargains, and where else? Charlie's online. What's this one? Firecracker. So, into the canner. Let me just take you over and show you in the canner. Right, so that's 5 of those jars in. Now your jars, they don't want to be touching, so you want to make sure you don't want them touching the wall of the canner, and you don't want the jars touching each other. And you need to always make sure you've got something at the bottom. If you haven't got a rack to put at the bottom, then a folded up tea towel, something like that. And of course, because we're canning, the water only comes a few inches up the jar. So that's ready to turn on now, and to bring it to vent. So right, on the All-American, there's a little arrow here. That little arrow wants to line up with that. There we go. And then and these wing nuts, you'll do opposites. Let me try and show you. Right, so it's one there, and this one, which is directly opposite. And one opposite. Getting out a few. Right, and then I will go around and tighten them, that one and that one, and that one. Make sure they're all tight and it's all nice and even before I turn the heat on underneath. Right, that's the lid all tightened up and the gas is turned on. I do use a separate gas burner because one, I've got a glass top induction hob and you can't put a canner on it. It wouldn't be able to hold the weight. And my other option, of course, would be the wood stove. But because it's not so easy to control the heat on this, I had to keep, when I first got the canner, keep moving it from the hot plate over to the simmer, backwards and forwards. And a canner, when it's fully loaded, is very, very heavy. So I got myself a gas burner, which I run off a Calagas bottle, and that suits me fine now for canning. And because I've got it on a trolley with wheels, I can wheel it around the kitchen. Now what we're doing is we're not bringing it up to pressure yet. We are going to start venting it, so the steam will come out of here. Once I've got a steady stream of steam, I will ask Alexa to start the timer, and I'll time it for 10 minutes.
Can you say that again?
And then after the 10 minutes I will...
Sorry, I don't know that.
Sorry, Alexa's speaking to me there. I will set the weight on. Now the weight comes, see that, 5, 10 and 15 pound of pressure. I use 10 pound of pressure and the weight will go on there once I have vented for 10 minutes. And then the little dial here will come up to 10. Once that's up to 10 and this starts jiggling about, I turn the heat down and I can then time it for 90 minutes, because it's 90 minutes for this size of jar for the meatballs. If it was a smaller jar, it'd be 75 minutes. And yeah, so that is when you're actually pressure canning, when that's up to pressure and the little valve is jiggling over here. And you want it so it's not jiggling constantly. You want it so it's doing a jiggle, stop, jiggle, stop. And you do that by, of course, controlling the heat. And then once the timer has finished, I then turn off the heat, leave it, do not touch it, and just let it drop pressure by itself. As the canner cools, the pressure dial will drop. Once it's down to 0, you can then safely take the weight off and then undo the lid, tilting the lid away from yourself, take it off, and you can then lift out your jars. Put them out to cool and leave them to seal. And you do not touch your jars, you leave them, because they stay hot for a really long time. So they'll sit there now overnight, they won't be touched at all. And then in the morning I will finish writing the dates and everything on them. Take the rings off. Why do we take the rings off? We take the rings off so that when it will be sealed. Should be totally sealed. If that seal comes off in the morning, it means it's a false seal, and the items would either have to be frozen or eaten, kept in the fridge and eaten within the next day or so. If you leave the ring on, you would never know whether the seal has gone or not, and you should regularly check your jars to make sure the seal hasn't gone, because that can happen where it will suddenly ping off of its own accord, especially if you're storing them in an area where there's a lot of fluctuating temperatures. So if the ring stays on, you will never see that a lid is blown. So you take the rings off for storage, and yeah, check them at regular intervals. So, and before putting them away, they'll all be wiped down and dated, so that they all get used in date order. So we shall come back once that starts to vent, and then I'll show you what it's like when it's venting. Right, the canner is starting to vent, and we wait until we see a steady stream. As see it coming out now. And once that is nice and steady, I don't know if you can see that. And we start our 10-minute timer. Alexa, set the timer for 10 minutes. And then in 10 minutes time, she lets us know. We will, I can't see the steam coming out very well at all there, but it is. Then we'll pop the weight on. Right, the meatballs are all done. Sorry, I didn't get them filmed coming out the canner. My battery went flat. So now the next job is taking off the rings. It's next morning, so they've all cooled. Checking the seal. You should not be able to pull that off with your fingers. And then it's just wiping down the jars, giving them a good clean, making sure everything is well labelled. This one is Moroccan. You can't see that, the sun's shining out. Moroccan, and I'm just going to pop the dates on. And yeah, then put them away into store. So want my firecracker. So that's 10 meals all done, ready to put on the shelf. Right. So I'm just going to carry on working through them jars, get them all put away. Yeah, that's another job done. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And I'll catch up with you on the next video.